a young girl, and her mother follow a strange rule. Every year on October 10th, they lock themselves inside their house. All doors and windows are shut tight. No matter what happens, they can't leave or open the door. The mother marks the date on the calendar with a red circle. She warns her daughter, no matter what you hear, don't open the door. Stay inside on this day. Every year on October 10th, something strange happens. Someone or something knocks on the door and rings the doorbell, wanting to come in. But when midnight comes on October 11th, the knocking stops and everything goes back to normal. Over the years, the girl asks her mother repeatedly why they must follow this ritual, but the mother always brushes her off, saying, "It's for your safety. You'll understand someday." One year, October 10th arrives, but the mother is away on a work trip. Before leaving, she calls her daughter and warns her again, "Do exactly as we always do. Lock every door and window. Do not open the door for anyone." The girl nods, promising to obey, but as the day drags on, she grows uneasy. When night falls, the familiar knocking begins, sharp and relentless. The doorbell rings over and over again, echoing through the house. At first, the girl tries to ignore it, but her curiosity starts to overpower her fear. What could be outside? Why won't her mother tell her the truth? Finally, unable to resist, she decides to confront whatever or whoever is at the door. She takes a deep breath, unlocks the door, and slowly opens it. Standing before her is a tall, skeletal woman with hollow eyes and a wide-brimmed hat. The figure exudes an otherworldly aura, her bony hand clutching a glowing amulet around her neck. In a voice that sends chills down the girl's spine, the woman whispers, "Your bloodline owes me a debt. You must pay the price." Panic surged through her body, running blindly through the house. She managed to lock herself in her bedroom, her breaths ragged and shallow. With shaking hands, she grabbed her phone and dialed her mother. After several rings, the call connected. "Mom." "I opened the door. I'm so scared. What do I do?" she cried. But the voice that answered wasn't her mother's. It was the chilling voice of the skeletal being. "You cannot run from me. You cannot hide." She dropped the phone, her blood running cold. Outside her room, she heard slow, deliberate footsteps echoing through the hallway. The being was inside the house. The girl pressed herself against the door, praying it would hold. The footsteps grew louder, each one resonating with an unnatural weight. Then, she heard it scratching at the door, followed by that same voice, now whispering, "There's nowhere to hide, child. Open the door and face your destiny." Tears streamed down her face as she tried to think of a way out. But there was nowhere to go, and the being was closing and the scratching stopped, replaced by an eerie silence. The girl held her breath, straining to hear any sign of movement. Suddenly, the doorknob began to turn. The skeletal being opened the door. Its hollow eyes bored into the girl, freezing her in place. She tried to scream, but no sound came out. The being raised a bony finger and said, "You cannot escape the sins of your ancestors. Your bloodline betrayed me long ago. The debt must be paid." Through sobs, the girl mustered the courage to speak. "What debt? What did my family do to you?" The being let out a low, chilling laugh that echoed through the room. "Your great-grandmother struck a deal with me to save her life. She promised me her firstborn in return, but she broke her vow and fled. Every October 10th, I come to collect what is mine, yet each time I am denied. This ends tonight." Suddenly, the sound of a car screeching to a halt echoed outside the house. Her mother had returned, breathless and terrified. Bursting into the room, she screamed, "No, take me instead." The skeletal being turned its head toward the mother and paused. "You are not the one I seek. Your ancestors' debt cannot be transferred. Only her blood will do." The girl's mother fell to her knees, pleading, "There must be another way. Spare her, I'll do anything." The being seemed to consider the plea. After a long silence, it spoke. "There is only one way to break the curse: a sacrifice. Either the child comes with me, or you must offer a piece of your own soul to replace her. The mother nodded, without hesitation. Take it. Take whatever you need, just leave my daughter. So the being stretched its hand to take the mother's soul. The daughter, filled with a newfound courage, looks up at the skeletal being and defies it. You'll never take my mother. With a fierce determination, she reaches out and touches the being's bony hand. A surge of energy flows through her, and the being's glowing eyes flicker with surprise. Slowly, the being's form begins to dissipate, banished by the daughter's bravery, and that was the end of the bondage of October 10th, setting them free at last.